Welcome everyone to the 91st Celebrity Synastry chart reading, where I will be looking into Hailee Steinfeld and Josh Allen. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Madeline and it is so nice to meet you. On this channel, I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology. For those new and returning, I take notes on a Synastry chart looking at the personal planets, signs, aspects, and if birth times available, house relays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe and click the bell to join us weekly, and let's get right into it. Starting off with the sun, we have Hailee's sun in Sagittarius and Josh's sun in Gemini. These are sister polarity signs and also mutable signs as well. It's an enriching relationship and they both are curious and restless. They share different perspectives and it's not a smothering relationship. They live an active life together and they listen to each other. Josh finds Hailee's approach to life interesting. Hailee's sun overlaid in Josh's second house. Marriage is not possible, which, I mean, I don't know where they are in the relationship. As far as I know, they're not like a couple that is like, engaged or married or anything like that. But I guess it's not surprising because we have seen so many aspects. Like, this is a very like sort of, I don't want to say casual relationship, but just a very detached relationship, if that makes sense. Like, they're both curious, it's not smothering, it's just a very comfortable relationship where they're not like very attached to each other, if that makes sense. Josh is a valuable asset to Hailee and Josh may feel used. Oh, this is weird. From what I know, I'm pretty sure Josh is some kind of athlete. I'm pretty sure he is a football player, definitely an athlete of some kind. And Hailee Steinfeld, she's just in, the stereotypical, I guess, the typical entertainment industry. She's not in sports or anything. So I wonder in what way he would be a valuable asset to her. Josh senses Hailee wants something more and they both may be working towards a common goal. Hailee sees Josh as someone who can help her achieve goals. What goals though? Like, I have no idea what goals or anything she would want from Josh, like, unless there's something a bit more to these two. Hopefully we will see more. Josh's sun overlaid in Hailee's 12th house. They are different people and there's an atmosphere of mystery. I mean, the only mystery so far is, what does Hailee want from Josh? Marriage is not possible, we're seeing again, and they don't understand each other, which I kind of find funny because we did see they are both like curious, restless, and they share different perspectives. Potentially it is just a nice sort of like, enriching relationship, as we saw earlier, where they just share perspectives. They're not particularly understanding of it, but they're just, curious. No idea why they are together. Great. Josh finds Hailee unpredictable and Josh sees Hailee as exotic and strange. Josh feels Hailee doesn't approve of him. I mean, she clearly does in a value sense, however you want to put it. Relationship requires a lot of patience and Josh is attracted to Hailee against his judgment. I kind of feel bad for him so far. He's a bit not lost, I guess confused. Josh's sun sextile Hailee's Saturn. It's a long-term relationship and they work on common goals together. Hailee is loyal to Josh and they both feel they can rely on each other. They both feel a sense of commitment to each other and they can work together business-wise. Maybe Josh has more business savviness than Hailee, which is why she is, I don't know, using him. Maybe they have a business together. Something like that. Like, maybe it's a more business-oriented relationship. Josh's sun Trine Hailee's Uranus. They start as friends and Josh inspires Hailee. Frequent changes occur and they get each other's humor. It's a relationship of experimentation. I'm not surprised. Like, that's so far with what we're seeing, that's, I think, a nice thing about this relationship thus far. It seems like they're both really, chill with each other, I guess you could say. They're both just they're very open to each other. They encourage each other to be themselves and there is a strong attraction. Josh thinks of Hailee as inspiring and exciting and Hailee tries to keep the relationship interesting. Josh may feel threatened by Hailee's need for freedom and they both need to encourage the other's independence. I mean, besides Hailee being a bit, I don't know, having mysterious intentions, I guess you could say, it doesn't seem like they're particularly attached to each other, I should say. So it doesn't seem like there is a problem with encouraging the other to be independent. Josh's sun, Trine Hailee's Neptune. It's tolerant and forgiving, and Josh strengthens Hailee's ego. They're attuned to each other's feelings, and Hailee inspires Josh to be creative. I wonder if they do some kind of like, I don't know, business or project together, because we saw like the more business working together elements previously. But now we're seeing that she inspires him to be creative, so maybe there is something there. Josh's sun, opposite Hailee's Pluto. It's a relationship of growth, and it feels faded. Bond that is not easily broken, and they are both separated by distance. So really going back to, they seem to be quite independent of each other. It's not a smothering relationship. Josh has the tendency to embarrass Hailee, and Josh uses Hailee to boost himself in a negative way. I don't like that these two seem to have like these mysterious, I guess ulterior motives, you could say, that thus far are mysterious. It's a bit weird. Like, that is really throwing me off. Like, everything else in this relationship seems fine, like normal, whatever. It's just this weird thing of they seem to have like ulterior motives for the other. It's like, what are your intentions? Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry readings on my Etsy store, both basic and detailed. The basic one is very simple to understand. It's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty good for those that are beginners to astrology, just getting the head around astrology, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed one is just like what I do on my channel, just a lot of insight and interpretation on your chart. So if you are interested in that and everything else astrology and tarot related, readings and gifts, then definitely check out my Etsy store. Links are below. I'm always releasing new things, so definitely check it out if you're interested. You can even just favorite the store just to show your support for free. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the reading. So now it's time for moon. We have Hailee's moon in Capricorn and Josh's moon in Cancer. These are sister polarity signs again, and also cardinal signs. They have contrasting instincts and they have opposite temperaments. They are loyal to each other, which we did see earlier, particularly on Hailee's end, but I think we did also see they both feel that sense of commitment. Hailee appreciates Josh's soft nature. I wonder, like, because we did see that she inspires him to be creative, maybe, because if he is an athlete, like, you know, in that sort of, like, industry, I guess you could say, in that field of work, I can imagine, like, you know, an athlete, particularly a male athlete, you're probably very much encouraged to be, like, what even is the right word? I don't want to be, like, you're encouraged to be, like, this sort of toxic masculine stereotype. But you're definitely encouraged to embrace those, I guess, a lot more masculine things to the more extreme level. So potentially she sort of brings out that sort of softer side to him and really appreciates that he's not this sort of like, you know, super manly all the time, I guess you could say. Josh is drawn to Hailee's stability, and Josh may not feel emotionally satisfied by Hailee. Hailee's moon overlaid in Josh's second house. Hailee values Josh as a source of emotional satisfaction, and Josh may feel unsure about Hailee, going back to how she has whatever ulterior motive. They both see each other as valuable. I mean, I'm not surprised because, I mean, we have seen like the few notes in the beginning with Hailee, but also Josh using Hailee to boost himself in a negative way as well. So I'm not shocked, unfortunately. Josh may become possessive of Hailee, and it's a practical relationship. Josh's moon overlaid in Hailee's second house, so this is a repeated aspect, just inverted. So Josh values Hailee as a source of emotional satisfaction. Hailee may feel unsure about Josh, and Hailee may become possessive of Josh. So I mean, I guess the loyalty and commitment thing would help since they seem to be equally possessive of each other thus far. Hailee's moon are Trine Josh's Mars. They're instinctively drawn to each other and there is a mutual attraction. It's a lively relationship, going back to how it generally seems to be like an exciting experimental relationship, but we saw that Hailee's the one that tries to keep things exciting. Hailee nurtures and feeds Josh's ego, and Josh teaches Hailee to be brave and confident. They both learn about their instincts and needs here, and arguing is not uncommon. and expressing feelings is spontaneous here. It definitely seems like, I guess, a very open environment, particularly communication wise. Like, it doesn't seem like either of them feel very blocked. It seems like both of them encourage the other to sort of like speak what's on their mind. Hailee's moon is square Josh's Saturn. Hailee feels emotionally insecure, which is interesting considering we did see that Josh is not fully satisfied emotionally in this relationship. So it seems like a mutual thing that they're both not I don't want to say not the strongest emotionally, but I guess they're both not feeling super emotionally great with each other. Possibility of an awkward relationship. The only thing that I'm really seeing as awkward is like, what are their ulterior motives? Like, how are they using the other? Because I cannot think of anything. If you guys are fans of these people and you have a bit more insight, definitely let me know, because how on earth are these people using each other? Josh sees Hailee as needy and oversensitive, and Hailee feels judged by Josh. Josh's moon at Trine Hailee's Venus. There is mutual appreciation and it is easy to compromise, not surprisingly so. There is natural affection and they are supportive of each other during conflict. They appreciate art together and they're a social couple. Josh's moon is sextile Hailee's Mars. They are open with each other, which this is a continuous thing. I'm a record player saying this, you know, they seem to be quite open, very encouraging of each other to be themselves, experimental, all the same thing. Hailee feels more assertive and there's a mutual fascination, and Josh makes Hailee feel at ease. Josh feeds into Hailee's ego, which we did see on Hailee's and for Josh, so it seems like both of their egos are quite stroked here. Hailee helps Josh to be more confident and bold. This is a nice thing to be mutual, I think. Like, they're both helping each other to be more confident, which I'm not surprised. This seems like they're very much creating an environment where they're both very comfortable being themselves. They both learn about themselves here, which goes back to how this is a relationship of growth. It can be tumultuous at times. Like, there has to be something, because, I mean, the whole thing with, like, both of them seemingly having ulterior motives, but also right at the beginning, we did see twice, like, marriage is not possible, and, like, as far as I know, these two, I believe, have had a more long-term relationship, although they're not like engaged or married. It seems like they're pretty serious. It's not like a normal like celebrity fling. Josh's moon opposite Hailee's Jupiter. Emotions can get out of control. I feel like the way I'm interpreting this, it seems like there's sort of like emotional problems can get out of control, because neither seem particularly emotional. But it seems like we have already seen, like, on both ends, not particularly happy here emotionally. There are unkept promises and they are attracted to each other because the other has what they need. What do they need though? Like, that's what's weird. Like, I feel like this is not a bad relationship as such. Like, emotionally it's challenging, but there's this weird thing of like they need something from the other. But what is it? Their beliefs are conflicted and Josh may smother Hailee. They both think the other's a bad influence. Okay. Josh's moon are opposite Hailee's Neptune. They negatively influence the other, so I guess like both thinking the other's a bad influence seems to ring true. Josh clings to Hailee. Okay, so it seems like the whole commitment, loyalty, and we did see on both ends possessiveness, but seems to be more a bit on Josh's end now. Hailee doesn't fit with Josh's vision of her. Oh no. This, I swear, this always happens. Every time I'm like, this is a pretty good relationship, we immediately go into a U-turn. I'm always cursing and jinxing myself in these. Josh makes Hailee feel safe and there's difficulty to define boundaries. I mean, if they are quite open with each other, maybe that doesn't help. Both feel guilt when they are separated. Interesting, and we did see that separation occur sometimes. They may lose themselves in each other. I want to see more when it comes to this particular note, because it seems like they are pretty able to like have their independence. They're not like particularly blocked by the other. They're seem to be very like, yeah, just hold their own. So now it's time for Mercury. We have Hailee's Mercury in Capricorn and Josh's Mercury in Taurus. These are both earth signs. They prioritize practical daily matters and relationship can get stale easily. I mean, it seems like Hailee particularly with Hailee, she seems to really try to keep the relationship exciting. But if this is a place where they are able to hold their independence, we're seeing that they are separated by each other. Particularly, they both have, you know, more traveling careers. So if they are prioritizing their own independence and practical matters, when you are separated, that kind of is a sort of like staling factor. That is not a word. But it certainly does not help. Like, you're not really talking to each other. There's nothing happening there. It's just separation. They accomplish goals together, and they both tend to neglect their relationship. Hailee's Mercury overlaid in Josh's second house. It's difficult to see eye to eye together, and they lack common views. They both get the impression that the other doesn't get them. I feel like this is more in an emotional sense. In every other way, it seems to be generally okay. The only place where they really have difficulty to connect and have that lack of connection is emotionally. Josh's Mercury overlaid in Hailee's 11th house. Josh is open and communicative with Hailee, and Hailee finds Josh pleasant. Hailee looks forward to spending time with Josh, and they are both tolerant and patient with each other. It seems like the general tone of the relationship, they're quite tolerant, they're patient with each other. Hailee's Mercury trine Josh's Mars. Josh stimulates Hailee's mind, and Josh energizes Hailee. Josh helps Hailee develop her ideas, so it seems like there's a mutual thing where they are able to sort of encourage the other to I guess think more creatively, think more outside the box. And going back to we did see it more in the beginning, they are able to work together on goals, so maybe they do some kind of project together that is more on the creative side. There's healthy intellectual competition, and Hailee teaches Josh how to be more reasonable. They both move forward in this relationship. In what way though? I feel like this is very linked to them sort of kind of having this weird thing of they need each other, they use each other. In what way though? They work well together, and Hailee helps Josh to problem solve. They enjoy debating together, and Josh takes Hailee's words personally. Hailee's Mercury squared Josh's Saturn. There is a deep respect for the other's intelligence, and Hailee can be intimidated by Josh's practicality. Okay. Hailee feels inferior to Josh, and there is a serious tone in conversation. Negativity and criticism take over conversation, and they both question their role in their relationship. Josh's Mercury opposite Hailee's Venus. Hailee feels Josh doesn't consider her feelings, which goes back to how she feels more emotionally insecure in this relationship potentially. It is just because, she has that feeling or the sort of impression that Josh wouldn't consider her feelings. They have contrasting ideas, and it's an intellectually stimulating relationship. They cut each other off, and they both feel the other is self-centered. I mean, it's a pretty interesting, I guess, combination if they do see each other as being more self-centered. But they are quite, encouraging. I mean, it is interesting how they both are encouraging the other to be self-centered, but at the same time, they seem to be, encouraging it. I guess you could say they both are nurturing and feeding into the other's egos. It's a relationship of banter, and Josh may see Hailee as lacking depth. There's a difference in interests, and Hailee's understanding of love does not match Josh's. They're drawn to each other's differences. I mean, that seems to be a big element and theme to this relationship. They seem to be quite open with each other and very curious about the other, wanting to learn about the other. Conversations become a source of conflict. I mean, we have been seeing bits and pieces they enjoy debating together, they cut each other off and all of that. So I guess in that sense, can very easily slip into a conflict. They need to learn to listen to each other, and Josh can help Hailee intellectually. Josh's Mercury trine Hailee's Mars. This is a repeated aspect, just inverted. So everything from before is further emphasized. But also Hailee stimulates Josh's mind, and Hailee energizes Josh, which the mutual energizing thing, you could see that as in relation to them feeding into the other's egos. Hailee helps Josh develop his ideas, and Josh teaches Hailee how to be more reasonable. Josh helps Hailee to problem solve, and Hailee takes Josh's words personally. Josh's Mercury trine Hailee's Jupiter. Hailee is enthusiastic about Josh's thoughts and ideas, so again, it seems to be a mutual thing. They both are quite, it's a very intellectually stimulating relationship. It's a strong friendship, and they have positive and inspiring conversations. Business together is advantageous. I know they are officially together. I'm pretty sure they're officially together. But this whole relationship seems to lean more towards being friends and like really good business partners. Hailee introduces Josh to new ways of thinking, and Hailee can be too lenient with Josh. They enjoy traveling together, and Josh helps Hailee with self-expression. There's an optimistic meeting, and they come from different cultures. So I don't know in what way at all. Like, they both come from California, or they're both born in California anyway. I have no idea. Like, as far as I know, they are just like, you know, Californians, you know, white Americans. I don't know if they have any particular backgrounds to them, as far as I know, but, you know, obviously, like, if they come from different cultures, maybe in a religious sense, potentially, I'm not sure. Josh's Mercury, Trine Hailee's Neptune. Hailee inspires Josh's imagination, and they share an appreciation for the arts. They get each other, and they are forgiving of each other. So now it's time for Venus, with Hailee's Venus in Scorpio and Josh's Venus in Gemini. It is challenging in some ways. I feel like it is. Definitely in the emotional sense, and I feel like intention wise, and the whole separation thing as well. The intention thing, we haven't gotten anywhere closer, which is annoying. Challenging for me. They are fascinated by each other, and what is attractive at first becomes conflict. Maybe the whole differences thing gets too much, maybe? Hailee feels threatened by Josh's banter, and Hailee knows how to push Josh's buttons. Oh gosh, that's not great. Contradicting views on partnership, which this goes back to Hailee's understanding of love is not, I think, understood by Josh. So there's a conflict with like their understanding of love. So that makes sense. To potentially why we have seen already like marriage is not possible. Potentially there's sort of like, I guess, overall views, like I guess how to conduct a partnership. It's hard to say because they are together, so maybe this is something that like works from them. Like, it seems like the differences bring them together and seems like what is attractive to them. Hailee's Venus overlaid in Josh's first house. Hailee is attracted to Josh, and Hailee enjoys being seen with Josh. So we're getting somewhere a bit more with the intentions. There's public admiration. Josh is flattered by Hailee, and Josh over time may not appreciate this shallow admiration. Maybe the whole ego thing is a bit more of a problem, I guess, than we may think. The whole like stroking each other's ego, because we did see potentially like, because they both see each other as selfish, I'm pretty sure it was, and that is a weird combination when it comes to like they're both, you know, encouraging the other's egos and nurturing that. So potentially that is a bit more of a problem than maybe we may think. Hailee doesn't pay attention to the regular Josh. Okay, but like, what does he have? I'm sounding not the greatest to Josh. Like, he might be like a massive like celebrity, and I wouldn't know. Like, but it's from what we're seeing and from what I know, like, what does he have that Hailee seems to want to use? Josh's Venus overlaid in Hailee's 12th house. Josh is deeply moved by Hailee, and Hailee doesn't understand Josh. Josh is needy and vulnerable around Hailee, and Josh acts different in this relationship, which we did see going back to how like he sort of, you know, softens up around Hailee. He feels a bit more creative around her. Hailee feels insecure in this relationship. The only thing we have seen is like emotionally speaking, which makes sense on both ends. Josh tries to hold on to this relationship, which we have seen already that Josh is a bit more clingy onto Hailee. I think a bit more controlling as well and possessive. I mean, we've seen possessive on both ends, but it seems like Josh is, yeah, definitely holding on to this more, clings onto Hailee more. Hailee's Venus sextile Josh's Neptune. Hailee is enchanted by Josh, and they prefer to see each other as a fantasy. I don't like seeing this, and then how we just saw that she doesn't pay attention to the regular Josh. That's not great. They are tolerant of each other, and they share spiritual interests. Hailee may expect too much from Josh, and Josh is easily charmed by Hailee. Josh's Venus square Hailee's Saturn. Hailee is critical and demanding of Josh, and Josh eventually withholds affection from Hailee. Whoa, where did this come from? Josh sees Hailee as unsympathetic. I mean, the only way I could really see this is like in an emotional sense. We've only really seen this like weird U-turn of like critical and demanding from Hailee. So that's the only way I can really see it, maybe in an emotional sense. Hailee sees Josh as childish and undisciplined. maybe that is where she's kind of like, I guess, really encouraging him. I mean, we've seen that on both ends. They seem to be quite nurturing of each other, not just in the ego sense, but I feel like in a more creative, intellectual sense. So potentially maybe Hailee's motivation for this is she just sees Josh as being a bit more childish and undisciplined. Criticism is rooted from jealousy. I'm so curious as to like Josh's deal, basically, because it seems like, I mean, I was thinking Hailee was a bit more, I guess, influential. Like, Hailee by no means, like, she's successful in her own right, but she's not like a massive, huge hit. Like, she's not a household name by any means. But I thought, you know, she definitely has the more sort of status to this, but from what we're seeing, it seems like Josh does, maybe in sort of more private circles, like maybe in the wealth sense or something, maybe has more connections. So now it's time for Mars. We have Hailee's Mars in Virgo and Josh's Mars in Taurus. These are both earth signs. It's a practical relationship. I mean, I'm repeating myself. They definitely seem to focus more on like working together. There is that business working element. But also they are, you know, prioritizing themselves, it seems like. They tend to be critical of each other. We just, you know, saw this on Hailee's end. Josh gets irritated with Hailee's lack of patience, and Hailee's too experimental for Josh. Okay. Hailee's Mars overlaid in Josh's 10th house. Hailee brings out Josh's competitive side, and there's a cold and detached chemistry. I think they have potential for like bouts of it, particularly when they are separated from each other. We did see there is a tendency to get stale easily, so I mean, it seems like in that sense they would have a bit more cold and detached chemistry then. Hailee wants to impress Josh and neither know what they want from each other. I think that's the problem. Like, they seem to know exactly what they want from each other. Like, because it seems like they both seem like they need something from each other. I mean, I guess you could see it as like they feel like the other has something what they need, but they don't know exactly what. Like, they have an impression this person can help me, but not exactly with what, if that makes sense. Hailee seems uninterested in Josh to outsiders, and Josh tends to put his walls up with Hailee. Yeah, it seems like there's something about Josh. I don't know what it is, because as far as I know, he doesn't particularly have anything that he would be able to help Hailee with a career or something, but it could be maybe outside of career, maybe just like in a financial sense or networking sense. Josh both craves and fears Hailee's stability. Oh, bless him. Like, because he seems to cling on to Hailee, but also fears it. Like, yeah. Relationship seems intense to outsiders. Josh's Mars overlaid Hailee's 11th house. Josh is detached when pursuing Hailee, and Hailee always feels out of Josh's reach. I don't think we've seen a whole lot when it comes to the meaning, have we? It's a friends of benefit style relationship. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it seems like this whole relationship leans towards more being like business friends. Maybe that's just a big aspect of their relationship, but potentially they just started off as friends and eventually became a couple. Hailee is intrigued by Josh's rebelliousness, and they both enjoy their freedom here. Hailee's Mars trine Josh's Jupiter. They feel they can do anything together, and there is healthy competitiveness. Josh is okay with Hailee asserting herself, and they have fun together. They enjoy trying new things together, and they have a shared interest in sports and travel, so travel comes up. The whole sort of like moving around and separating seems to be a big part of their relationship. They're a lucky couple, and Josh helps Hailee get out of her comfort zone. I mean, this is a theme for both of them. They both seem to really encourage each other to grow. Hailee feels more energized around Josh, and it's possibly a reckless relationship. I mean, we haven't seen anything too crazy. So that was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of the reading. If you are still watching, please share your thoughts below. I would be very curious to see what you guys have to say about this one, because this was definitely an interesting reading, and I still don't feel quite satisfied with like, what do they get out of each other, especially with Josh. Hailee seems to really gain something from Josh. I don't know what he has that would particularly help her. So if you guys are like fans of these people, you follow this couple, definitely let me know if you guys have more insight to these two, because it's definitely an interesting one. And of course, if you haven't made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I post these readings weekly. Besides that, give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!